concerns. We'll continue with Lieutenant Governor Dan McKee on this small business triage during the pause on My State of Mind. Stay with us. Welcome back to My State of Mind. Lieutenant Governor Dan McKee with me about this small business triage. You know, the clock is ticking. The effectiveness of a $50 million second throw-in of CARES Act money by the governor is what we'll see. But the formula that they're talking about here, right now by design, offered by the Rhode Island Division of Taxation, you know, talks about net profit as a formula. From 2019, in comparison May of last year to May of this year, blah, blah, blah. I'm hearing in the last 24 hours that they may revisit the problem of that because no one's made any money. And businesses in their accounting show different kinds of ways to address their returns and their P&Ls. This ought to be just on gross sales, right? This is how much revenue I generated on top last year. This is what I'm doing this year. Here's what I know I'm going to lose in the pause, and just it got to be 3 lines and go, you know. And so I'm telling the truth under penalty of perjury. I'm telling the truth. That might, by the way, from a small business perspective, name me a category of business that's flourished in 2020. I mean, the busy work of this is insane, it seems to me.
Well, the having to prove that if you're closed, having to prove that the actually been damaged is it's just ridiculous, right? So, I mean, we've been saying for a while, you have 2 programs, the Restore Rhode Island Grant Program and now the Pause Program. You should have overhead. Overhead should be weighted equally to payroll. So you have businesses who have large overheads, but they can't use that to qualify for more dollars on the Restore program. And right now, they're not allowed to use that in the this grant program, the Pause Grant Program. Yeah, you could do gross revenues. That's a possibility. But overhead is what they need to pay, and that's very easy to detail, Dan. I got this much rent. I got this much utilities. I got this much insurance, right? I got this much payroll. That's what's not being factored in here is the overhead, and that's what's driving the businesses out of business. That's what's going to cause the businesses to fail if they can't pay their rent, and the landlord says you got to get out because I can't pay my mortgage. So the overhead is far more is the most important thing right now that needs to be factored in on both grant programs. The gross revenues, that's fine, but the overhead's a lot easier to detail.
Okay, it makes sense to me. I just think that if you're looking for a formula for net profit, I mean, it's an exercise in futility. And by the way, let's remember something. For those of you who don't run small businesses who are thinking, you know, what is this gift of money? This is an infusion into the economy because all that overhead is payment of bills to other businesses, right? I mean,
and we agree with the money for the unemployment. In fact, in our request, we asked the governor to appropriate dollars, in particular for the employees that are going to get impacted by a pause. This is a holiday season, and we know that they're going to struggle, and you've reported that. So the idea of $50 million going into the unemployment, helping with as people are going to potentially lose their benefit, that makes sense to us. That makes sense to me, and we called for that. So, but let's not play it like it's $100 million to help the small businesses. This is a $50 million program that's got off the ground very slowly for the grants for the small businesses that have been impacted. And then it's a $50 million unemployment benefit program. The 2 different distinct things, and yet they were brought into the same number. Just like in July when she mentioned that, you know, the governor said there was 100 million plus going to small business. No, 50 million went to small business, 45 million went to labor, to training, job training, and other factors. And yet we still don't know. No one can tell us, Dan, how much has been spent and how much has been appropriated. We're all over the map with it, right? We still are all over the map. So where's the accountability? And that's one of the problems right now as well.
All right. When we come back, this long, cold winter that we are about to embark on brings all sorts of challenges. We'll get the Lieutenant Governor's perspective on how we muddle through toward a vaccine when we continue. Stay with us. Welcome back. Lieutenant Governor Dan McKee is with us. Well, grant programs at 50 and supplemented by $50 million of unemployment and all that. Basically, let's remember something. At the end of 2020, meaning by Christmas, there's no Federal CARES Act money left. Either we use it or lose it and have to send it back until and unless another stimulus program comes. And gosh knows what Washington is doing, amongst itself, all the politics and the challenges between the transition and what the Senate's doing and the race in Georgia. And holy cow, what are we going to do here in terms of just holding on to our businesses until and unless we get a vaccine? I mean, obviously there's a health issue. Our hospitals are now doing an overflow deal on the way out in Cranston and at the convention center, and that's a concern. The governor's got a plan for that, but how are we going to hold this together?
Yeah, Dan, the infection rate is going up sharply. That's why we've been saying, look, wear a mask, save a life, save a job, save a small business. That's been the theme for the last several weeks. But we got to come to terms. Something's happened in Rhode Island that has created an infection rate that is higher, significantly higher than our bordering states in New England. So, we got to really come to terms with why. The governor has, taken it on a big task on her own shoulders. She's been basically running the whole show in terms of whether it's distribution of the CARES Act money or oversight of the infection rate. So we need to make sure that we need to take a second look at this, right? The infection rate not only is causing the health issues, which is the priority, but it's causing an unhealthy economic environment as well. So you mentioned the vaccines. Yes, that's, we need to make sure we roll those out. Let's make sure that we do what we didn't do and engage the municipal leaders. Let's make sure those municipal leaders are engaged in that vaccine distribution strategy. I believe that's happening, but right now we haven't gone to our municipal leaders in a way that we should have on the grants or on the health issue. I think that the community buy-in right now is tired, and the governor mentioned that there's a COVID fatigue. Well, unfortunately right now, because there's a governor fatigue that in terms of just listening, and so we got to figure out how to restructure that to make sure that we're safe, the vaccine is distributed in a way that makes sense, and up to that point when the vaccine's available, we need to really rethink the strategy of getting the buy-in from our general public about how important it is that they follow the rules.
Well, one thing would be to say, stop saying follow the rules.
Yes.
Listen,
you can't do it from a microphone, Dan. You got to be out. You got to be out, and then not to be using the municipal leadership to build civic buy-in from all the civic leaders, whether it's Little League presidents or Boys and Girls Club or church groups or chorus groups. They all need to be engaged here in a way that they're not right now. And unfortunately, as I'm going around, we don't like to say it, but they've tuned out the messages that's coming from the microphone. Many people have.
Right. Well, to be continued. Lieutenant Governor, thank you. Appreciate it. Final word when we come back. Stay with us. Continue to follow the cash flow for the small businesses in Rhode Island. Again, if you are a small business, go to the Division of Taxation website and apply. We'll talk to you on the radio at 3 until 6 on WPRO and back here tomorrow night. Thanks.